when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. He's my favorite.
One thing for sure, when you hire me, you're getting a black actor. And if you wrote it and you didn't see a black actor when you wrote it, or even if you saw one, sometimes what you put in my mouth is not how I talk. Depending upon what I've read, you created a character who's a lot more educated than you allow him to speak. I can conjugate, and a lot of people can. So I don't need you to write black vernacular for me. I can say what you want said, but you need to say it this way. If I'm from somewhere else, I can say it that way.
I don't watch Tyler Perry movies, and
now,
you know,
now can you tell me why? I want to know why you don't watch Tyler Perry. I want to hear your opinion on Tyler Perry.
So this is Mega of Mike's Unleashed, and I'm just saying this is why I don't watch Tyler Perry movies. I think Tyler Perry movies are all very stereotypical when it comes to black people. He enhances the sort of the negative aspect of blacks. I do see him with some shows. I hear about it. I wasn't a fan of, the Madea character. I didn't see what all the hoopla and everything, all that the character was about, which was too funny. It didn't click to me. But when I've seen some of her, not just her, but when I see Tyler Perry shows, they're just very stereotypical. And I'm just like, I'm out of that.
At what point do we say enough is enough, Tyler Perry? At what point do we say we will not watch these films anymore until you hire some writers? 7 minutes and 9 seconds. Like, I'm not lying. I'm 7 minutes and 9 seconds into this movie, and this is already one of the most ridiculous things that I think I've ever seen.
You probably think you know Tyler Perry, the billionaire filmmaker, Hollywood's most successful black mogul, the man who built an empire making millions laugh and cry. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. Two of the most respected legends in cinema flat out refused to work with him. And not because of scheduling issues or money. When Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson, men who've collaborated with everyone from Spike Lee to Steven Spielberg, draw a hard line, it means they've seen something the public hasn't. What they discovered will completely change how you view Tyler Perry forever. But before we get to what Denzel and Samuel L. uncovered, you need to understand this. Tyler Perry didn't just stumble into controversy. It's been following him for years. Picture this, 2011. Spike Lee, the man behind Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X, sits down for an interview. And if you know Spike, you know he doesn't hold back, especially when it comes to black representation in film. What he said about Perry's work was nothing short of brutal. He called it coonery and buffoonery. Let that sink in. In the black community, those words aren't casual insults, they're cultural daggers. That's basically the artistic equivalent of being excommunicated. When the director of some of the most powerful black films ever made calls your work a harmful stereotype, that should have been the end of your career.
Because each artist should be allowed to pursue the artistic endeavor. But I still think a lot of stuff that's on today is coonery and buffoonery. And I know it's making a lot of money, breaking records, but we could do.
But here's the fascinating part. Nothing happened. Perry's movies kept pulling in millions. His studio kept expanding. Hollywood kept writing him checks. So the question is, why didn't the criticism stick? Because it wasn't just Spike Lee saying it. The whispers were everywhere. Black barbershops across America were debating it. Family dinners got tense whenever Perry's latest film came up. Scholars and cultural critics started breaking down the stereotypes in his storytelling. And yet, none of it mattered. Tyler Perry had built something bigger than criticism. He'd built a billion-dollar empire. And in Hollywood, money speaks louder than integrity. That's when something subtle started to happen. Certain A-list actors began quietly distancing themselves. No public statements, no drama, just silence. And sometimes, silence is the loudest message of all. Because here's the thing, Denzel Washington isn't just another actor. He's Hollywood royalty, 4 decades strong. But he's also something rare in Tinseltown, a preacher's son who's never been afraid to talk about good versus evil, on screen and off. And when a man like Denzel draws a line, it's not about ego. It's about principle. And what he eventually said about Hollywood will blow your mind.
When the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite.
Denzel once laid out his entire philosophy about spiritual warfare in Hollywood. He said, there's an old saying, when the devil ignores you, maybe you're doing something wrong. But when the devil comes after you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right. Now think about that for a second. If you're comfortable in Hollywood, if everything's running smooth and nobody ever challenges you, that might actually be a red flag. But when powerful forces attack you, when the system pushes back hard, that usually means you're disrupting something that was never meant to be exposed. Apply that to Tyler Perry. Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million, got called insane. Cat Williams spoke out about industry corruption, got blacklisted. Spike Lee criticized harmful stereotypes, got sidelined. Every one of them faced real punishment for challenging the system. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry? He keeps getting rewarded. Billion-dollar studio. Multi-year deals. Industry praise. According to Denzel's logic, who do you think is really on the right side? But this gets even more personal. Because Tyler Perry once approached Denzel with a role that reportedly crossed serious lines. Sources close to Denzel say he found it not just unappealing, but flat-out disrespectful. And remember, this is a man with 2 Oscars, who's worked with Spike Lee, Ridley Scott, Tony Scott, the greatest directors alive. For Denzel Washington to look at a role and call it morally unacceptable? That tells you everything about where he stands.
Tyler Perry hurting black people.
Tyler Perry's about to buy BT.
I don't watch Tyler Perry movies, and
now can you tell me why? I want to know why you don't watch Tyler Perry. I want to hear your opinion on Tyler Perry.
So this is Mega of Mike's Unleashed, and I'm just saying this is why I don't watch Tyler Perry movies. I think Tyler Perry movies are all very stereotypical when it comes to black people. He enhances the sort of the negative aspect of blacks. I do see him with some shows. I hear about it. I wasn't a fan of the Medea character. I didn't see what all the hoopla and everything, all that the character was about, which was too funny. It didn't click to me. But when I've seen some of her, not just her, but when I see Tyler Perry shows, they're just very stereotypical, and I'm just like, I'm out.
Denzel has been in Hollywood for over 40 years. He can spot the difference between genuine talent and projects propped up by the system. So when he takes a moral stand against someone, it's not a creative disagreement, it's spiritual discernment. But Denzel isn't alone. Another Hollywood giant has also kept his distance from Tyler Perry, Samuel L. Jackson, the highest-grossing actor of all time. That's not coincidence. Jackson's been in the business for over 5 decades, and he's worked with everybody. Quentin Tarantino, Spike Lee, George Lucas, Marvel Studios. More than 150 films. This man isn't picky about projects. He's deliberate about collaborators. And here's the part most people miss. When you've survived Hollywood as long as Samuel L. Jackson, you develop instincts about power. You learn the difference between someone who's simply difficult and someone who's actually dangerous. Jackson knows how billion-dollar assets get protected. He's seen lawsuits vanish, victims silenced, and careers destroyed, all to keep the machine running. At his level, Jackson has the luxury of choice. He doesn't need another paycheck. He can choose who he stands beside. And when a man who's worked with the most demanding directors and the most volatile co-stars avoids Tyler Perry completely, it's not about scheduling. It's not even about creative taste. It's a warning sign.
One thing for sure, when you hire me, you're getting a black actor. And if you wrote it and you didn't see a black actor when you wrote it, or even if you saw one, sometimes what you put in my mouth is not how I talk. Depending upon what I've read, you created a character who's a lot more educated than you allow him to speak. I can conjugate, and a lot of people can. So I don't need you to write black vernacular for me. I can say what you want said, but you need to say it this way. If I'm from somewhere else, I can say it that way.
It's about professional standards. It's about seeing the red flags that younger, hungrier actors might ignore. It's about knowing that some opportunities come with hidden costs no paycheck can ever justify. Samuel L. Jackson's silence on Tyler Perry speaks volumes. In an industry where everyone praises everyone else publicly just to stay in good graces, Jackson has never once said a kind word about Perry's work. No support during scandals. No curiosity about collaboration. Nothing. That kind of silence isn't accidental, it's intentional. A man of Jackson's experience doesn't stay quiet by chance. He stays quiet because he knows what that silence protects him from. And what we're about to show you explains exactly why he's kept his distance. Because now, we're not talking about creative disagreements or artistic taste. We're talking about mistreatment, inside the workplace, of a kind that would make headlines anywhere else. Meet Brandon J., a young actor who appeared on Tyler Perry's production Meet the Browns. What he revealed about that experience paints a picture of chaos, control, and exhaustion behind the laughter. Brandon said it was the most stressful, mentally draining experience of his entire life. And here's the chilling part, it wasn't supposed to be that way. This wasn't a gritty drama or a psychological thriller. This was a comedy show.
I remember the person that I wanted to impress the most was Mr. Perry. I always looked up to him, and he was just sitting on the side looking at me. He was just looking at me, like waiting for me to do something. I felt like he was about to fire me. Everybody's expecting me to pull something out. They don't even let me finish the third take. They're like, cut, cut, cut.
Tyler Perry's method is absolutely insane. While a normal TV network takes an entire week to film one episode, Perry's productions demand his actors shoot a full episode in just one day. One single day. Imagine that kind of pressure, learning your lines, blocking your scenes, hitting your marks, all while performing perfectly under the clock. But that's just the warm-up. Brandon spent days memorizing his script. Every cue, every line, drilled into his head. He was ready, rehearsed, professional, focused. Then Tyler Perry walked into the room, and everything changed. The energy shifted instantly. Perry watched the entire run-through in silence, arms crossed. When it ended, he didn't ask for adjustments. He tore it apart. He hated it. Not minor tweaks, a total rewrite. Right there on the spot, Perry started feeding Brandon brand new lines, rewriting entire scenes as they filmed. The director, powerless. He just stood there, watching Perry dismantle everything they'd prepared.
I lose it. I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm crying. Not because I was acting, but I was feeling those emotions because of how overwhelmed I was in this moment.
Perry suddenly decided that Brandon's character should be gay, with a crush on his bully. That wasn't in the audition. That wasn't the role he'd spent weeks preparing for. But here's the brutal truth. Everyone on set knew if Brandon objected, he'd be gone. No discussion, no explanation. Fired. In any normal workplace, drastically changing someone's role without consent would be considered harassment, a hostile environment. But in Tyler Perry's world, that's just another Tuesday. The pressure broke Brandon completely. He says he blacked out from anger and frustration. By the fourth take, he lost it, screaming, yelling, crying. Not because it was part of the performance, but because the emotional abuse had pushed him past the breaking point. And Perry, he just sat there, watching. No compassion, no professional direction, just cold observation, like someone detached from the damage unfolding in front of him. Now imagine Denzel Washington or Samuel L. Jackson witnessing something like that. Men who've spent decades working with disciplined, respectful directors. They know the line between creative tension and outright exploitation. And this wasn't a one-off story. Multiple actors have described similar experiences, but most stay silent, terrified of being blacklisted. Yet what's coming next takes this beyond workplace mistreatment. Because what we're about to reveal explains exactly why Denzel and Samuel have kept their distance, protecting not just their careers, but their integrity, by staying far, far away from Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios are now being accused by one of their former actors, Braxton Wells, of covering up his grape, NSA, by one of their top executives. Braxton Wells is a former actor from the series Ruthless, was also featured in The Oval. Sound familiar? As you know, it was just last month that Derek Dixon sued Tyler Perry for $260 million. Well, apparently, Braxton Wells settled with Tyler Perry Studios back in October of 2024, not that long ago. He accused Tyler Perry's senior vice president of graping him and NSAing him. He also alleged that Mark Swinton drugged him allegedly. Mark is on the left. He's worked with Tyler Perry for multiple years, probably like 15 plus years on scripted television projects and movies. So Braxton Wells on his social media shared various videos, screenshots, and even his settlement agreement where he settled with Tyler Perry Studios, Tyler Perry, and Mark in this settlement agreement, which he also signed a non-disclosure agreement. In the settlement, he received $500,000. However, $201,000 went to his legal team. However, he's claiming that he felt like he was misrepresented by his legal team. He says that Derek Dixon's attorney, he had reached out to him before the whole Derek Dixon of it all, and he refused to take his case. However, wants him to be involved in Derek's case. It should be noted that Braxton is a former Army vet, and he says there were certain things because he's a vet he should have been afforded when it comes to his rights. He also filed a police report in regards to this. He had posted, even before he posted here, he had posted before he made the settlement with his claims. He believes the attorney that represented him were in cahoots with Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios. Braxton also believes, even though he signed the settlement agreement and there's a non-disclosure within the settlement agreement, he believes that it's voided because he signed that under duress. He's believing that his legal team misrepresented him. He believes that they were working with Tyler Perry's legal team against him. But here's the thing. Although people settle for a variety of different reasons, within the settlement, it does say that they do not claim Tyler Perry Studios, Mark, or Tyler Perry, they do not claim any responsibility or being guilty of what he's accusing them of. However, like I said, people settle for different reasons. I just don't understand why you would settle when your senior VP is being accused of R-ing someone. According to Braxton, he alleges that Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios are covering up for
Derek Dixon, an actor who starred in over 85 episodes of Tyler Perry's The Oval, has just detonated a bombshell that could shake Perry's empire to its core. In June 2025, Dixon filed a staggering $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry, and the allegations inside it are beyond disturbing. According to the court filing, this wasn't some random case of misconduct. Dixon describes it as calculated exploitation, carefully disguised as career mentorship. He claims Perry first noticed him back in 2019, while he was working event staff at an exclusive party. Out of nowhere, Perry offered him an acting opportunity, a dream come true, right? But what followed, according to Dixon, was a chilling pattern that blurred every professional line imaginable. It started with lavish gifts, designer clothes, expensive surprises, even a car. Then came promises of bigger roles, more screen time, and personal mentorship. But beneath the generosity, Dixon says, lurked something far darker. The messages allegedly turned inappropriate. His lawsuit even includes text exchanges that, if proven real, could destroy Perry's reputation forever. In one alleged message, Perry reportedly asked, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless S?"
Tyler Perry was pressuring people to watch Netflix with him forcibly. If you don't know what that means, look in the comments. Now, this is important because rumors are how these big cases get started in the first place.
And here's where things plunge into absolute darkness. Dixon's lawsuit claims Perry used quid pro quo tactics, dangling career advancement in exchange for sexual compliance. When Dixon refused, Perry allegedly warned him that his character would die on the show. From there, the details turn horrifying. The lawsuit outlines multiple alleged assaults. One describes Perry entering Dixon's guest room uninvited and groping him. Another alleges he was cornered inside a trailer and sexually attacked. Each time, Dixon says, Perry would circle back with fake remorse, then use rewards to regain control. Raises, better roles, even promises to develop Dixon's own TV pilot. It's manipulation straight out of a psychological playbook. Guilt, reward, silence. And Dixon isn't the only one. Braxton Wells, another former Perry actor, reportedly settled with Perry Studios for $500,000 in late 2024 after filing similar claims. The settlement included a strict NDA, but Wells now says he signed under duress, and that his own lawyers may have been compromised. Then there's gospel singer and actor Christian Keys, who's been trying to expose Perry for years. Keys claims to possess recordings of Perry offering him money to strip and admitting to keeping multiple young black men on payroll for inappropriate reasons.
Wants to Harassment started. I was like, well, I got to protect me because I'm saying no, and I don't want this person, as powerful as they are, to try to get in the way of my work.
Now you understand why Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson, men who've built entire careers on integrity and professional excellence, want nothing to do with someone facing allegations like these. Perry's legal team insists the accusations are fabricated scams from opportunists chasing a wealthy target. But when multiple people share the same stories, when documented evidence surfaces, when quiet settlements keep appearing, it stops looking like coincidence. It starts looking like a pattern. And truthfully, even before these lawsuits exploded, there was already another reason why respected actors like Denzel and Samuel steered clear of Tyler Perry. His creative formula was doing real damage to black representation. Just listen to this raw, emotional perspective from a black woman who's exhausted by how she's constantly portrayed on screen. She explains that Perry has built a billion-dollar empire by monetizing black women's pain. His formula always paints them as struggling, heartbroken survivors in need of saving. Where are the legally blonde-type stories for black women? Where are the joyful, empowering narratives? Instead, Perry's characters recycle the same stereotypes, strong but broken, loyal but unloved, leaving many black women feeling ashamed, unseen, and misrepresented in the media built to reflect them.
Watch Tyler Perry movies, and
now,
you know,
now can you tell me why? I want to know why you don't watch Tyler Perry. I want to hear your opinion on Tyler Perry.
So this is Mega of Mike's Unleashed, and I'm just saying this is why I don't watch Tyler Perry movies. I think Tyler Perry movies are all very stereotypical when it comes to black people. He enhances the sort of the negative aspect of blacks. I do see him with some shows. I hear about it. I wasn't a fan of the Madea character. I didn't see what all the hoopla and everything, all that the character was about, which was too funny. It didn't click to me. But when I've seen some of her, not just her, but when I see Tyler Perry shows, they're just very stereotypical, and I'm just like, I'm out of that.
BET, Black Entertainment Television. The worst network I have ever come across. The most low down. The most dirty. The one who exploits black people the most besides Tyler Perry. Shout out to Tyler Perry for exploiting black women.
There's a troubling pattern in Hollywood that comedians like Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams have been calling out for years. The constant pressure placed on black men to wear dresses for comedy.
It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress.
Dave Chappelle famously walked away from $50 million rather than compromise his principles. When producers pushed him to wear a dress for a sketch, Dave stood his ground and asked the question that still echoes today, "Why are you putting us in these dresses?" Meanwhile, Tyler Perry built an entire empire around Madea, a black man in drag, earning billions by playing the very stereotypes Dave refused to embrace. Cat Williams takes it even further, connecting this to something much darker: control in Hollywood. Whether or not you believe in secret societies or shadow groups, what Cat's really exposing is the system itself, one that rewards submission and punishes resistance.
I find it weird how whenever he came out, people was talking about him, people was disrespecting him. Tyler Perry was doing everything in his power to have him on mute. Now a white man is coming out, now it's more important. Oh my gosh, Tyler Perry him. What about Christian? Nobody's talking about Christian, are they? I genuinely find it weird how black people ignore the fact that people who are rich, black people who are rich, they get rich off of the backs of us, and we continue to support their behavior. They have money to quiet people, and we continue to support their behavior. And then years and decades later, here come the Diddy case. I don't want to hear about it because y'all have seen the things that has happened to black people, but y'all only care when it's a non-black person.
The pattern couldn't be clearer. Dave Chappelle refused to sell out and was branded insane. Cat Williams spoke truth to power and got blacklisted. Spike Lee challenged toxic stereotypes and was quietly pushed to the margins. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry keeps getting rewarded for promoting the very images these conscious artists fought against. For Denzel Washington, a preacher's son who sees Hollywood as a spiritual battlefield, aligning with Perry's content would mean moral compromise. For Samuel L. Jackson, a man who's worked with directors that uplift black stories, Perry's formula represents everything broken about how the industry handles black narratives. These aren't just creative clashes. They're moral divides, questions about whether success should come at the expense of integrity. And now, it's easy to see why two of Hollywood's most respected legends made a deliberate choice to stay far away from Tyler Perry. This isn't about scheduling issues or ego. It's about moral clarity and professional principle. Washington and Jackson have what most actors don't, the power to choose who they stand beside. After 4 decades in the business, they've learned how to spot the line between a demanding artist and a dangerous influence. Perry's smooth rise to billion-dollar status despite endless criticism and serious allegations fits perfectly into Denzel's worldview about who gets rewarded in Hollywood. Jackson, who's worked with everyone from Tarantino to George Lucas to Marvel, knows how power shields predators and silences victims. Both men built their empires on respect, discipline, and integrity. Associating with someone accused of exploitation and misconduct would destroy everything they've spent a lifetime building. That's why legends like Jackson and Washington want nothing to do with Perry. They've dedicated their careers to elevating black excellence, not reinforcing harmful caricatures. And they're not alone. Even comedy icon Paul Mooney couldn't hide his disgust for the imagery Perry profits from.
I'm very proud of Monique. She did an excellent job. I'm happy for her. I hope she gets an Academy Award, an NAACP, but the movie, I just couldn't help it. As a black man, I couldn't stand that movie. I was very offended by that movie. That movie was insane. Yeah, Oprah and whatever the other man's name is. That man that dresses up like a lady. What's his name? Yeah, the one that has Alzheimer's. He's from God, he's a man. He just stay in the dress. He can't help himself. I want some positive stuff. I don't, and as a black male in America, we're not actors and actresses, or a black woman. When we play a role, people think that this is a reality show. When Superfly was out, they thought every black man was a pimp. When they go see these films with black people in them, they believe what they see. A white actor, they're acting. You don't think that every white man's Jason or every white man's Psycho in that movie. That's an actor.
Paul Mooney always understood that representation shapes reality. When you project harmful images onto screens, you're not just entertaining audiences, you're teaching them how to perceive an entire culture. Perry's films weaponize this influence, using black actors to recycle painful stereotypes while hiding behind the excuse of just entertainment. And in an industry where A-list icons constantly collaborate across studios, the fact that neither Samuel L. Jackson nor Denzel Washington has ever worked with Perry isn't coincidence, it's conviction. They're not just guarding their reputations, they're setting a blueprint for younger black actors. They're proving that success doesn't have to mean surrendering your morals. That no paycheck is worth your peace. That artistic truth will always matter more than profit. Now, with a $260 million lawsuit, documented messages, multiple accusers, and quiet settlements under NDAs, their instincts have been validated. While others scramble to publicly distance themselves, Denzel and Jackson never had to. They saw the warning signs long before the headlines and chose to stand on principle. That's what real integrity looks like in an industry built on illusion. So, there you have it. While Tyler Perry was stacking billions and expanding his empire, Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson were quietly safeguarding their legacies. They recognized the patterns early, the toxic workplaces, the degrading portrayals, the exploitation masked as opportunity. And now, as more stories surface and the truth unfolds, their moral clarity looks prophetic. In Hollywood, the loudest statement isn't what you say on camera, it's who you refuse to stand beside. Real legends protect their souls, not their fame.